Hello everyone, welcome. So today we're going to do another handheld video. This is the KTR-R1. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I actually did a retro handheld guide where I looked at 6 upcoming devices, and a lot of people asked me why I didn't include the KTR-R1, and that was simply because I just ran out of time. I didn't have the time to look at a 7th device, so I always meant to do a separate video later on for this KTR-R1. And so today they actually released some new marketing materials on this device and also some new rendered images as well. So we'll go through all of that material, and as well as that, I want to go through the specs of this device because we haven't done that yet on this channel. Okay, so if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And we have a Discord server, so come along and join us there. And I'll leave a link in the description below. Okay, so I want to go through some marketing materials first, and then we'll go through the specs, and then finally I'll show you some rendered images of the device. Now, as you can see, this is the KTR-R1 here, and it looks very much like the RG552 or even the RG351P in terms of the design. And I think it looks really nice. We'll talk about the looks and form factor and all of that a little bit later on. There's plenty of images to get through. The other thing I want to quickly mention is that it's running the Snapdragon 845 Plus. Now, I'm not too sure the differences between the 845 and the 845 Plus. I had a quick look online before this video, but I wasn't able to find anything on this. So if you know, let me know in the comments below the difference between the two. I'm thinking that it's probably because we have active cooling and there's a fan inside this, that this is the overclocked version of the 845. So that's what I think, but let me know in the comments if I'm right or wrong about that. Okay, so the next thing I want to go through is the materials of this device, and I've done some machine translation of the Chinese here, and my Chinese isn't too good, but I can read a little bit of it. So here we've got color, and it says here nostalgic gray from the machine translation, although I would probably say that this was more like a gunmetal gray, but either way I think this looks really cool. It's definitely a unique type of gray that we haven't seen too much of in handhelds. Now, this bit here says CNC all-in-one process cutting, and that's because this is a 7000 series aluminium alloy, and it has anodic chlorination and sand surface treatment. And so I'm going to guess that this is going to turn out something like the RG351M, which had a really nice smooth finish to that device. Now they also have another material. This is the plastic version of the device, which they've called the polycarbonate shell. And I quite like the yellow that they've gone for here. Obviously, you want to go for bright colors because that's going to attract the attention of a lot of people. So I think this yellow works well here. And they've also got a second color for the plastic shell, and this is a white. Now they've gone with the SNES face buttons, or the SNES colored face buttons, which I think they probably could have gone with like a light gray shell in that case to make it even more of that SNES feel. And finally, this is the second metallic version. As you can see here, over here, it says 7000 series aluminium, and it's also got that CNC all-in-one process cutting. So this is a metallic version, and they said that it's a China red. I'm guessing because the flag is going to be, well, this is very similar to the color of the Chinese flag. Now, one cool thing about this device is that they're actually going to have 2 configurations of the analog stick and the D-pad where they're going to swap their positions. Now, this is going to be 2 separate models, I'm pretty sure. So you obviously can't do this yourself. You're going to have to choose it when you actually go and buy it. So what we have here is for one of them, we have the analog stick on top, and then for the other model, we have the D-pad on top. Personally, for me, I actually like the D-pad on top a little bit better. That's because I don't mind the position of that analog stick down below, because I'm so used to PlayStation controllers that I'm used to reaching for that analog stick anyway. So I don't mind having that D-pad up the top there. Okay, so this is the dimensions of the device, and I'll just read it quickly. So this is 168.9 millimeters in length, 78.8 millimeters in height, and 18 millimeters in width. Okay, so this is a comparison of the length of the device, and as you can see, we've got the iPhone X at the top there. I'm thinking that the KTR-R1 is going to be pretty similar to like an iPhone Max or iPhone Plus or whatever they call it these days. So I guess you could say this is pocketable, but I don't really like to put it in my pocket because of those analog sticks there. They always get in the way when you put it in your pocket. Certainly the Switch Lite is not pocketable. So, but yeah, so this is probably like the upper limit of being pocketable. So here is a comparison of the width of the device, and you can see that the KTR-R1 is, yeah, again, going to be very similar to that iPhone Max or iPhone Plus. Okay, so let's go through the specs of the device, and I'm going to put up the English version somewhere in post so you can see the English version. But as you can see, we've got the 845 plus Snapdragon, we've got 6 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes of LPDDR4 RAM, we've got 64 gigabytes, 128 gigabytes, and 256 gigabytes of storage. And geez, I think that is a lot of SKUs that they're going to have to sell. So they've got 2 models of the D-pad and analog stick configurations, then all of these configurations of the RAM and storage, and then also you've got the colors as well, and the fact that it has metallic and plastic as well. So that's a lot of different SKUs that they're selling. Okay, but anyway, let's keep moving on. So it's got Wi-Fi 5 and Bluetooth 5. This is going to be running Android 10. Now this is a 4.5-inch screen, and the resolution is 1080 by 1620. So look at that, that looks very much like a 16 by 10 device, which I know a lot of people like in terms of PC gaming. And I'm wondering whether this would be a nice fit if you wanted to stream some PC games. I know a lot of people talk about like 3:2 aspect ratio as, you know, somewhere in between, not really 4:3 and not really 16:9, where it's kind of like stuck in the middle. But look at that resolution. It looks very much like a 16:10 resolution for PC gaming. I think that's pretty cool. So this has a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. This is 9 volt by 3 amp fast charging. This will support a 512 gigabytes micro SD card or TF card. Now the next bit here, which I've machine translated, it says that it has a full function handle, 4 extended back buttons. So I'm guessing that it just means that it has all of the buttons that you would typically find on a retro handheld. It has dual linear vibration motor. It has high quality dual speakers with independent channels. The recording is a dual noise cancelling microphone. It has video Type-C video output. Now the size, we've already discussed the size, and there's heat dissipation, active or passive to be tested. Well, this is clearly going to be an active cooling type of device, so there's going to be a fan involved, and you'll see in the render later on that there's room for a fan. And finally, this is the color of the device or the materials of the device, and we've talked about that already. Okay, so these are some rendered images posted by the owner or the creator or the designer of the device, and he posted these in a Discord, and I'll leave a link in the description below where you can go to the Discord and join in the conversation there if you want to find out more about the device. But here, so let's go through these rendered images. Now this is just the side of the device. Not much to say here except that the analog stick is sticking out, and as I was saying before, it's not really that pocketable in my opinion. Okay, so this is the back of the device, and this is probably the part that I don't like the most. It's just a little bit too plain for me. So it's got that vent in the middle, and that's really about it. I hope they have some time to add something to the device, whether it's some lines on it or whether they just you know, put some grooves into it or something. Okay, so there are some rendered images of what's going on inside, and you can see here this is clearly going to be for the fan. This is the heat sink here, and then obviously there's a vent on the shell, which will be the intake. Now the 2 blocks on the either side of this heatsink. So I'm guessing, you know, one is going to be like the PCB, where you have the processor and also the memory chips and storage and all of that sort of thing, and then the other one will probably be the battery. So The one thing about this is that, you know, to balance it out a little bit more, I think it'd be better if they had like a split battery type thing happening. I know there are devices that do that, but if they decide to do this and they put the battery on one side, then it's going to be a little bit heavy. So I don't know if that's how they're going to do it, but we'll have to wait and see what it looks like in the teardown. This is more of the inside of the device. Not much really to say here. They've obviously removed the heatsink and PCB and battery. So this is getting to closer to the screen. And here's pretty much the same sort of thing. And this is a shot of the bumpers. This is a shot of all four devices. This is just a rendered image. Okay, so as I talked about before, this is the back of the device and it just looks a little bit plain to me. But as you can see, the colors look really nice and I think they hold up really well when you put them all together. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about is the D-pad, and the owner actually said in the Discord that he's going to test this out first. So he will actually see if it works out well, and if he doesn't like it, then he might change it to a different D-pad. But he said that was a very easy thing to do. Okay, so this is the last image, and so let's talk about the price and availability. Now, availability, I think because they're still testing the device, it's still a few months away. So I think we won't see it for another few months. So probably early next year we'll see this device. And then, of course, in terms of pricing, it's going to be somewhat similar to the Odin. The Odin has the SD845 as well, and that was $200 for the base. So I think this is going to be around about $200. It might be a little bit cheaper because it's going with the 4.5 screen, so the device is smaller and the screen is smaller, so maybe there's some savings in the cost there. But I think, yeah, it's probably going to be around there. It's not going to be like the PowerKitty X18S because that's $170 and that has a lower chipset. So I don't think they're going to be selling this device for $170 because they are leaving money on the table if they do that. Okay, so that's going to be it for this one. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.